Mhm. With the notes audit, I'm asking for you to send it to my university account instead of the Gmail. And
When you-
there's a place where you can change it when you share it.
Yeah. When you say go in, what are you talking about? Signing their timesheets?
No, not the timesheets, the notes audits. Remember, we do that on Google Documents.
I remember, that's right. We got to go to Google Docs, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to touch on that for, just a review. Just kind of wait until Tony gets here to make sure
Okay.
we've got the time for both of us. Or
I
whatever.
I heard it was you. I think you said once a month, but I wasn't sure when that month is.
We're doing it the first Friday of the month.
Okay, there's meetings, but I mean to go to the audit. That's what I'm
Yes,
talking
monthly.
about. When you say monthly, is there the first week, the last week of the month? What are you saying?
As long as I get it by the, the end of the month, it's up to you as to when you do it. Like if for October, I would love to have already had them by now. But we have several who, hey, I've got my boy behind me here.
Maybe he heard your voice and wanted up here closer so he could see you.
Newman. Yeah, so some folks are doing them early in the month, some are doing them middle, it's just as long as you get it within the month.
Okay, thanks. I wasn't sure when it, but they have to, the student has to go in and put the information in, right?
No, you do that with the student.
Okay, it's okay. We do it together.
That's actually a part of their supervision. One of your supervision sessions during the month, whichever one you choose, you have the students share their screen with you and look at their notes. And then you complete it together.
Then you do what?
You complete that together.
And then
once you've finished, you'll click share and it'll pop up and say, who do you want to send this to? And I'd like for you to put in my university email address.
Okay. So we do all that together. So it's not separate from supervision.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to spend time outside of, once you've done it a time or two with your student, it'll be pretty routine.
Do the students know about how often to do that? Or is it up to us to tell them we got to do?
Yeah. I mean, you guys talk it over. You're going to say, hey, every month we're going to go through a sampling of your notes.
Yeah, I've told them that.
Okay. So that's up to you. Just like you're scheduling your own meetings with them, you can do it whenever it's convenient for you.
I don't know whether they've gotten into it because I think each time I've said something to them, it's kind of nebulous for them. Okay.
Well, once you walk through it with them, they'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they know how to go into Theranest and take care of that stuff, right?
Well, they do the notes and then you look at them. And that's what the form is for, to tell you what things to look for.
And, oh, that's right, there's a form. Did you send that form out?
Yeah,
Okay, I completely forgot about that.
it's all right. Well, let's go ahead and look at it now since we're waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the form.
Mike, you're asking good questions though, because I'm behind the 8 ball on this one too, so.
Well, thank you. I don't want to be alone on this.
Let's see here. Okay, so, well, I probably have to redo this because it's probably gonna open a new. So I'm going to my Google Drive. Can you guys see the Google Drive?
Mhm.
Okay, great. All right, and these are important steps. Notice here, there's a supervisory notes audit template.
Got it.
Now, you're going to go to that. Open that up. Uh-oh, can you see the form?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not very technical myself. All right. Hang on just a second. I got to get a link to somebody. Hopefully I can do it. Let me text him.
It's okay.
You gotta be kidding me. I don't have the guy's number. Yeah. Apparently I don't. Okay. Okay, anyway, all right. So we've looked at the template. Now I've added something to the template. Note here, please copy this template and start a new document. The reason being, this is for everyone's use. You don't use this one to fill in your students' information, because then the next person has your students' information. So what we want to do is copy this template. Here, it's better to do it this way.
Nikki,
Yes,
would you like to see a quicker and easier way to do that?
Control all.
No,
Control A?
file, go up to
What?
file. Right under supervisor, go up to file and make a copy.
Ah, okay, did everybody get that? Make a copy.
Just make sure you rename it after it makes the copy. Because it'll say copy of, and then the next one will say copy of, copy of. So you just gotta make sure you rename it.
Okay, so Mike, did you get that?
Say that again. That was kind of fast for
Okay.
me to pick up.
All right. So here we are, we're at the template that we're going to use. This is the form. Think of this as almost like a paper form that you would have in your hands. This is the form we're going to use, but we want to copy it
So you go up.
and go to another document. So, and open our own document. So file, make a copy.
Right.
All right, and you can change it. I'm just gonna go, Smith. I'm just gonna name it the student that I'm gonna do. And I'm going to go, okay.
It said Shane, do we share that with the other person?
When it's time, when you finished. That think of share as an email sent. That's actually what it does, is it actually emails it to that person. So here we go. So now here we are. We've opened a new document. So now we're not going to mess up the template. Make sense?
Right.
Okay. All right. And you can take that out. So then here's where we are. And this is where you go, you ask your student to share their screen. And that's when they're going to go in and you're going to look for these things. You're going to look for making sure that the student has put a case number. Sorry. Let me make this a little smaller. Making sure the student has assigned a case number to the client's file. Then you're going to decide what date the session was that you're going to look at the notes for. And you'll put that here. Make sure that the client has an ID, and that'll be under the client details.
This is the student putting all this in, right?
No, Mike, that's you. The student is just sharing their screen so that you can look at the notes and you're going to audit them with them. So you're doing it with them.
So when they share the screen, how can we print this? This will be on the screen, right?
No, they're just sharing their notes screen.
They're sharing their notes screen
And
Oh,
this
that's
will be
all
on
that-
your screen.
and you fill
Mhm.
that out. So you're going to look and say, okay, let's see the if you've assigned a client ID number. Okay. Where are you seeing client? Is it a telehealth? Is it, where are you seeing him? Is it in person at the well, or is it a telehealth? You're going to make sure that they have filled in the client's information. So
Oh, so they fill in the client's information,
on the notes, yeah,
but not
Yeah.
on this sheet.
no. So, so Mike, this form is what you're using. Think of yourself just like you've done before as an instructor. This is your grade sheet. The student, you're grading the student's notes that are in Theranest. Are you following me?
I got you, but if they're sharing the screen, how do I get in? Can I do some things on this while they're sharing the screen?
Yeah, you don't have to share this with them. You don't have
Okay.
to share your screen at the
So
same
we
time
bring
with
this,
them.
I just want to listen to the logic. So when we get them, we email them, get them on Zoom, and
Right.
then we have this up ahead of time.
Yes.
And they share their
Yeah,
screen.
that's,
So we bounce back and forth between their notes and they do this
Or-
for every individual
Or
client.
you could possibly just print this form off while you're looking at their screen that they're sharing and fill it out by hand, and then go back and put it in to the form that you're going to send to Nikki.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. That might make it easier, as and then later on you can fill it in and share it, which means email it to me.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
idea, John. Yeah.
Yeah. I like my paper.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So then you're, you fill in this information, you make sure that that the student has filled out this information in Theranest. And then next you're going to look at their progress notes from the session that you chose. Okay, Susie, we're going to look at your October 15th session with Mr. Smith. And so you look over the progress notes and you give them feedback. Make sure that they have done the progress notes. You're going to give some feedback on it. And then you're going to make sure that they have signed the notes. You also will look and make sure they've done an assessment and diagnosis on the first session, that they have a treatment plan, and also that they've done cross-cutting measures. And those are those forms that are on board. And
Do
the
they-
student, you know, I know there've been a whole lot of things added. The student will know what you're asking. Okay, let's look at your cross-cutting measures. They can pull that up for you. Let them navigate the note part and you tell them what to look for.
Do they have to do all the cross-cutting measures?
Yeah, they do cross-cutting 1 and then cross-cutting 2. So if you make sure they've done the cross-cutting 1, all right, what cross-cutting 2s did this call for? Did you do those? And then you make sure to check that they've done those. They should have done the Columbia screener with the client the first time. And then after that, as needed, if the client becomes suicidal. And if the client has become suicidal, make sure that there's also a safety plan. Next, contact log. That means, are they documenting every time they contact the client outside of the session? So if a client texts them and says, I have to reschedule, they document that in the contact log. If a client tries to reach them and get some text therapy, they document that. And I'm asking the students to do a screenshot to put that in with the notes as well. Next, this stuff, each of these items should be in the PowerPoint and the video I gave you guys. But so, you know, go back to those and it'll show you screenshots of what it's supposed to look like in Theranost. Plus your student can help you. They'll know what to look for. Now with the tracker, this is something you may need to do. You can do that with the student, but you're going to have your own access to the tracker. You just want to make sure that these are up to date for the month. That how many individual contact hours do they have? How many relational for the month? How much observable data, case consultation, etc. And then every student needs to present at least twice a month. Make sure that they're giving you some live data.
Nikki, did you decide if here we count just individual presentation of observable, or do we include group?
You can include the group, and you should be able to see that in their tracker.
Yep.
Yeah. Observable data twice a month. We like for them to do, they need to present in group at least once a month or once a term. There's a rotation there. Ideally, they'll present data there too, but definitely twice regardless, twice, whether it's just with you or they present to you and the group. Now, and here's a place where notes where this is what happens when a person uses this on the template page instead of making their own document. So I've still got some comments from the person who did their audit on the template. So this is where I put the big red letters. Now, here's where you can put some comments about, student needs more details in their notes, or students doing a great job, whatever you feel like you need to document there, if that makes sense. How are we doing?
Nikki, is it unusual for there not to be anything in the contact log?
No, it's not unusual. They may be able to just get everything, get their next appointment scheduled, all of that stuff within the same thing. However, you got to ask first to say, okay, because many of them don't know that every time they contact a client outside of the therapy room, they need to document that. But yeah, you're going to have a lot that don't have it. Just make sure they know what it's for and that they need to be using it if it applies. So yeah, a lot of students never have to use it because all their communications in the session, if we're lucky, they don't ever have to reschedule or cancel. Sometimes they'll cancel through the receptionist. But that's not the student's responsibility. So how are we doing? Let me see here. I'm going to check in. I thought Tony was going to be joining us. So
Okay, but you want them to do that under what tab? The contact, when they have like text or email,
Yeah.
or under
text
the contact
or
tab?
email. Yeah.
What was that question again?
Should the student document texts? Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Should the students document emails? Yes. Right. So should the student document phone calls? Yes. Let me see here.
And you want all that under the contact tab, correct?
Yes.
Hey, Nikki, what was the date on your email where you sent out the PowerPoint? Because I'd like to go back and look at that. I missed that.
Okay. Well, I sent it out back in October with the lunch, the lunch and learn back on, it was October 1st.
Okay.
I think before that, I sent it in September. I'll have to go back and look at that, but yeah, I'll send it out again.
I need to look at that. You don't have to send it again. I just, for some reason, didn't click that that's what it was, because I need to look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we get so much email in our inboxes. It
Yeah.
really, sometimes we blow past something. It's not a problem. I tell you what, let me do this. Let me go ahead and just kind of field any questions that you guys have. What kind of questions do you have on either the tracker app or the notes audit? Yes.
Okay, so I do have one question because I finally got my girls to do one entry with all of their stuff for the week.
Okay.
But a question was asked of me, if they have multiple places that they're doing their practicum, do you still want it under one?
Yes. I
Okay.
talked to Tony about that. Right now, we're not documenting different locations.
Gotcha. Okay, just
I
wanted to make
would-
sure.
I'm not going to say it's not going to happen in the future, but for now, any of their hours, whether it's an external placement or at the well, they're all going to go under. Just
So what do you want them to put under practicum? Just
just put
CUL?
CUL. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good question. That's because that's not how I did it back in the day when we had paper timesheets. I kept track of the external. Of course, we were all external then. Okay, so let me, I noticed, hey, John, glad you could join us. Just a note here, just to double, I'll send the video of this to you as well.
And I probably missed the beginning was probably what I needed to hear most. I have trouble doing anything with the spreadsheet. I can only email it. So I'm just doing it, emailing it to you. And I want to see the part where I can pull it out and make it my own document.
Gotcha.
And print it.
Okay.
I can't print or anything.
Yeah, let's do that again. All right.
Well, I hate
so-
to drag everybody else do that. If everybody else is already good with that, I should just spend my own time doing that.
It's not a problem. It's real quick. So when you go into the Google Drive, you're going to see this is the template, and notice here what I added. Please copy this template and start a new document, because notice down here, I thought I cleared it all out, but somebody used the template to submit their notes. So I had cleared out all of this stuff, but I missed this. So
Are you still sharing?
oh shoot, of course I'm not.
Great. I'm not going crazy.
No, it's me. Okay, so on this, the notes audit form, please copy this template and start a new document. And we've had folks filling this form and sending it, and then the next person comes along and they don't have the template. And right here is where I missed taking out something that was still in there, was the comment. So now, and this is, Mike, this is something too that took me forever to get used to. Anytime you change this, it saves it. You don't have to click anything to save it. So that's something that really was tricky for me to get used to, because it automatically saves it for you. It's nice, but it also can be confusing.
I bet.
Okay, so then what you're going to do, and thank you, Melissa. She's my little techie friend. To copy this, what you can do is go File, and then Make a Copy. And notice here, here's where it is, you're going to copy it. And then you change the name, to whatever, your student or whatever. I'm going to put Jones. Jones is the student, and it's not time to share it yet because we have to fill it out. So then I'm going, okay, I made my copy, I renamed it. Now there it is. And then I can just take this part out because this is not the template. And then we go through point by point.
I guess I just was making that more complicated than, because I kept trying to find a real browser drive to send that to.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it to save right. So you just use that template there.
Yeah.
And don't send it anywhere specific, just save it. And then
you just copy
right.
it for your own, to make a new document. Then when it's time to share, which again, Mike, this is where it's like, okay, just like save, it saves itself. Share means I'm going to email this. So I click share. And instead of doing, and notice here, you want to be able to make it so that you can share it. So what I do here is I'm going to change to anybody who has the link can open it. And in fact, I want them to be able to edit it. So I make sure to change that too. So anybody with the link can edit that. Now I got to go here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask y'all to send it to my university address. So there it is, neirwin@campbellsville.edu. And then when I go done, it's sent.
Thank
See how that
you.
works, Mike? It just
Yeah.
sent it to me. It'll
Yeah.
pop up. It'll pop up in my university box, and we're good to go. I'm going to be having storing these on a university drive so that the monthly ones will be kept. You just start new each time. If you want to make a copy of that, you can keep it. But we're going to have those too. So no worries there if you say, oh gosh, I erased my August notes audit. We'll have those starting from October.
Right. I've got to run. You answered my question. Thanks, Nikki, and
Sure.
bye, everybody.
Thanks for stopping in. Take care.
Y'all too.
All right. And so I'm going to just kind of go to Theranest and make sure everybody's clear on what everything means. And I want to show you how to kind of do it quicker so that you don't have to jump around too much. Let me see here. I don't want to share my Theranest. All right. Okay. Share screen. Don't forget to do that. Okay. So what you're going to have here is the best way to do this. The easiest way to do this is have your student go to clients and then put their name in. under assigned staff. So this is all the clients at the well, but you can actually pull them up by a student. So I've been using Christian Halbert because he's like the notes king. And notice there, so you've got two sets of therapists here, among which is Christian Halbert. So what you've got to do is ask your student, okay, I know you're doing co-therapy. I want to look at the notes that you've entered, not your peer. So, so he's going to say, okay, we're alternating, putting notes in. So, okay, let's take a look then. And they'll take you in. And you're going to go to their cases. Hopefully they're sharp enough to know where to go. And we've got lots of notes here. So, all right, let's look at the case information. And notice here's where you're also going to do your cross-cutting. Make sure they've got all their forms in. But scroll down here. Wait, notes. Progress notes, my bad. Progress notes. And then take a look and say, okay, well, I did notes back on September 21st. So, okay. So then we're going to look in here and notice, hey, good job, Christian, you signed them. Those are supposed to be completed within 48 hours of the session, completed and signed. Now, let's say that something happened. They said, oh my gosh, I forgot to put something in. They can add an addendum. They can't change the notes once they're signed, but they can add an addendum. So, you know, check for that. But here we are in details now. And so here's where we're going to go and just take a look at what they've entered. Ah, good here. And see where it says nobody can edit from here. But look, here's where they did their initial assessment. And here's where they did their treatment plan. You know, make sure to review those and that see that they've got that they're following their treatment plan, or if they need to modify that, they can do that. And then we actually go down into the notes. Session focus would be details, so that if your student graduates, the next therapist can go back in and kind of review some of the content. And then therapeutic interventions, no need for explanation there. And planned intervention, you know, they could put something along the lines of what their homework was and what the plan is for the next session. You know, we'll do genogram next session, assigned student or assigned client to start to write down their family history, something along those lines. Make sense?
Yeah, what if a student has 6 clients or 8 clients, or they've had a dozen?
Yeah, we're doing a random check.
Oh,
and
this
that's
is just a random check.
It's just a random check. So yeah, if I go back, if you've got now, if they've only got one client, then you're just gonna randomly check. Let's say this is the only client that Christian has. Well, I'm gonna, okay, well, it's time to do the October audit. I've got 2 October dates to choose from here. He says, well, you know, I did the notes for the 26th. All right, we're going to go into that one. Or he said, well, I did both notes. Then, well, you know, I think I'm going to just go back to the 5th. We're the one choosing. This allows us to choose, and they can't just cherry pick and say, oh, I did some good notes on this date, I'm going to show them that. You choose. You have them show, you know, bring up the list, and then you pick one. Make sense? So
far, so good. We have to get into it and do it and see what questions come up.
Right. Yeah, so let's see. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the contact log, because that's one that most of them don't know about for some reason. Let's see here. So cases. Yeah, it's under case info. Contact log is right there. And let's just take a look and see. Okay, so we've chosen contact log. We're gonna go down here. And this is like Judith was saying, there aren't any. And you're gonna say, okay, Christian, have you contacted this client anytime outside of your session? Well, no, not really. What about even rescheduling? Oh, well, yeah, I've done that. That needs to go in here, sir. And there's where you're gonna, okay, let's go back and add that. When did you do the reschedule? Well, they just texted me. Okay, here's where you put in text, email, phone, text. And the note, client rescheduled. Relationship to client, well, you're the therapist that called you, and then you make sure that you're showing up, because here's where we've got two therapists. We got to put in the one that actually got the text, and then you just save it and it's there for you. This is very important for when a client says, I've needed a session for 3 weeks and I keep contacting my therapist and they won't get back with me. Oh, okay. Now, once we make sure they're doing this, we can go back and say, hey, but I see back on November 5th that in fact, you did, you rescheduled and you spoke with Christian, or you texted with Christian. See? And they can't come back and say, they just dropped me. This is why every contact is important. But I will not say that because it's not real. Okay. Notice here there are a whole lot of these cross-cutting measures. Are any of you not familiar with the cross-cutting measures? Anybody?
Nikki?
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay. All right, Judith, let me show you. They're online, but we've actually loaded them to the forms here. But I'll show you where it is actually. It's actually a DSM-5 cross-cutting. It's a free assessment.
I've looked at them, so I think I have a sense of what we're trying to get to, but
Gotcha.
it's like
Okay.
I asked you the other day. I'm curious where students are getting their information to know how to fill them out, and then how can I support and help and further develop that? Because
Right.
I pointed out one where there were some scorings, but then there weren't any cross-cut twos done as a result of that. I
Okay,
think I
and that's
saw
what we're
was-
looking for. This is covered in their intro to practicum course with Tony.
Okay.
So they're supposed to get education on how to do notes. They will have their own demo client and fill in notes, and that's he's got a checklist of things that they're supposed to recognize and know before they start their practicum. So this is the stuff that they get in intro to practicum. So let's just look at cross-cutting. And here's something too, it can be a little squirrely. I think there was a glitch early on, but I'm going to go to cross-cutting 1 for adult, and we scroll down. Now, this is what you're looking for when they go into that, is we make sure that the client's name shows up here. The client's name doesn't show up there, then it hasn't been done or something's happened in the system. So the client's name is there. Very good. So we're going to scroll down and look, and if everything is a 0, my guess is that, maybe copied the client's name in there, but maybe it wasn't completed. So
But this is exactly my question, because look at domain 1, depression, 0, 0, 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
How can there be a 2 if there were zeros?
well, but see, notice the questions. The domain 1 highest domain score is on everything, I think. Oh, I see what you're saying. Wow. Oh, this is not cool. This could be because they're asking the client, I don't know. They do this with the client. So they may be filling in, the numbers for them instead of handing the client a piece of paper. They actually do it with the client in their intake. But you know what, you're right. This is yet another interesting thing here. All right, let me put here. All right, let me see if it takes it. Yeah, you're right. So this will be something I'll need to ask Tony about, because Lord help us if we're up to my technical help. I'm the helpless desk when it comes to tech, y'all. Yeah, this is strange. Let me look at another one and see if, I'll just go random. Let me just pick another
But I
one.
am right, that
You
if
are.
you were filling it out,
It should
then
be.
it should add it up for you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There should be something there. Let me look at let's look at somebody pretty recent. Here's one that just started in mid-October. So I go over to notes. Now I'm going to look at cross-cutting level 1 for adults. No name. There's no name there. So it wasn't done. Maybe they haven't had a session. That's another thing. You want to take a look and make sure that the notes are up to date. So let me see. So I'm going to look at appointments. Oh, and your student's going to know. Okay, look here. So we've got kept appointments. No
Crosscuts.
no cross-cutting. So this student has not been doing their work. And we got 2 students here that are doing co-therapy with this client. So yeah. This stuff stresses me out. I'm like, what? That's supposed to be the first thing you do. Okay. And so while we're looking at it, let's just take a look. Do we have, if we don't have cross-cutting 1, do we have an initial assessment and diagnostic code? Let's take a look. Okay. No initial assessment or diagnostic codes, and we've already had 3 sessions. All right, what about treatment plan? Let's take a look. No treatment plan. Yikes. So this is why we need you guys. Yeah. So you see where we are with that. Oh my, we're 3 sessions in, and none of the intake stuff was done. Let's look at the notes. Let's see what, I'm going to go progress notes. I'm going to see what they've done with the notes. Okay. All right. So they're up to date on their notes. The notes were signed. I'm going to look at the details here. Okay. Family session. So yeah, and there's a potential of switching these kids to PCIT. So, all right. So we do have notes, but we don't have any of the original, the initial intake stuff. So this will be a development area for the students. And that's where you guys come in. And so, yeah, well, see,
I'm sorry about the stressing out, but this is helpful for me.
Oh, well, this is why, and Mike, that's why you do the random stuff. This student may have been, dogging it, so to speak, and, oh, well, I'll take you to this one. And then, you know, now you're like, okay, well, let's look at this client here. Okay, what's the, right? And then you walk through the whole thing, the whole list. So yeah, and for me, I need to know where this stuff's falling through. Tony and I need to, because, well, Tony actually teaches the class, so especially him, to let him know, hey, you know, I've got 2 co-therapists here and neither one of them did the initial assessment and diagnostic codes. You know, so that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
But where we are now, we're in such great shape that we've got this process in place. And hopefully everybody's starting to get the picture and feel a little more comfortable with the process. Yeah, and I value you guys so much for, you know, it's one thing to do a checklist, but then when you guys really dig into their treatment plan and their notes and really coach them there, you know, that's when you guys get to shine. I really appreciate that. And it's so good for them to get different perspectives, because they have all of us different ones for a group, and the group, we don't get to dig into the notes with them like you guys have. So we want to plug up any holes we have. Okay. Anything else?
It's really helpful. Thanks.
I hope that you know that I want to be a resource to you guys. And you know, go ahead and mark your calendars. We will meet. It's the first Friday of every month. The first Friday of December is going to be the 3rd. So we will meet then. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me look at January. Well, the first Friday of January will be the 7th. So anyway, we'll do this, and as we go along and have different issues that come up, we can bring those in and discuss, and maybe just eat lunch and say, hey, have you read any good articles lately? You know, something like that. We'll get to the point where this is just old news, and, you know, but also it's a good forum to take your all suggestions on how to do things better. So hopefully that'll
So
be.
we're meeting December 3rd then, right?
Yes, sir.
All
Lunch
right.
and learn. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's it for today, I want to thank you all for coming. I've got a recording this time, and I'll send it to the rest of the supervisors. Again, you know, hopefully you've got my cell number. It's on every email I send you. So feel free to text me or call.
Send us a recording too. That's always helpful.
Yes, I'll be sending this as well. Yeah.
Okay. Take
All
care.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a blessed weekend.
Thanks,
Okay.
Nikki.
Bye-bye.